Yeah, you know what time it is. Come brawl with them boys of the fall. Covered in gray and scarlet, massive, stiff arms to your jaw. We breaking it. We sick of seeing you clowns with the crown. We taking it. Number one flaws, you don't know ball. We taking advantage of that. Got you Karens asking where the manager at. With no cap, no time for the amateur rap. Look, man, we got dogs all over the depth chart. Monsters on the roster. Straighten up that posture. Rooting out you imposters. Silver bullets in the chamber. And a D-line full of danger. Step back when that linebacker trigger, when he pull it, it'll bang ya. Running backs running downhill. Touchdown on your IG reel. Better check the stats, buddy, it's straight facts over how you feel. Whenever I speak, I'm giving you more balls than German Village, Short North, and High Street. And you know, the average Joe can do nothing with my flow. It's a waste. Somebody please give this brother an I.O. Come on.
I told y'all before, I need to feel y'all's energy. Stop sitting on y'all hands and get this place lit. Like I said, bring the energy.
Yeah, you know what time it is. I'm brawl with them boys of the fall. You know what time it is. On the ground with a nose for the ball. You know what time it is. Blood, sweat, and them tears for this game. Leaving it all out on the field with no fear for you lame. You know what time it is. I'm brawl with them boys of the fall. You know what time it is. On the ground with a nose for the ball. You know what time it is. Blood, sweat, and them tears for this game. Leaving it all out on the field with no fear for you lame. It's Buckeyes by a billion. We in the building with over 100,000. We represent from the...
Hey, what's up, everybody? What is up, man? The chat was already cracking, like super cracking before we got in here, man. What's up, everybody? Jim Jackson, Craig Bowman, Tyler Carrisley, Lunatic Fringe, Stilly Matt in the chat per usual. What is up, everybody? Got Funky here with me real quick, man. I know y'all saw the intro that usually plays. It had Curtis Grant in it. Real quick shout out before we get started to Curtis Grant and his wife, Kayla. I visited their grand opening of their Pure Green smoothie bar this weekend on 1475 North High Street in Columbus, right in the heart of the Ohio State University campus, y'all. Not too far from that Barnes & Noble, 11th and High, you know what I'm saying? And the Kroger, it's right in the middle of that. But it was great, man. It was packed out. Lots of people in line. They were banging out orders. I mean, it was great, man. Very happy for Curtis Grant. Make sure y'all go and visit and support. All right. But yo, Funky, what's up, man? How you feeling?
What's up, B Moses? Another week as a national champion, so can't feel too bad. Second day of March, so we're one step closer to spring football, and I mean that's always good. I've been watched some great college basketball this morning. I kind of cheer for Michigan State in basketball. I'm not sure exactly why. I just always kind of have, especially when Ohio State's bad. It's kind of cool to cheer on another Big Ten team in Michigan State. I feel like their fans deserve some good sports. So got to watch them with a big win today, and then got to watch Michigan lose to Illinois, and that was a great thing. Just making it so Michigan State pretty much wins Michigan State can clinch a share of the Big Ten as long as they beat Iowa, which they will. So, which is good. So Michigan won't have any outright win of the Big Ten, and they'll have to beat Maryland and then at Michigan State to get a share of the Big Ten. So yeah, that was good. Now watching the Cavs game, there's 2 minutes left, up 2. So hopefully the Cavaliers get this one, get a win here. So
yeah,
just the off-season football things.
Yeah, no, I feel you. And the funny thing about Sparty, man, is like Sparty, they are truly the epitome of the enemy of my enemy is my friend. I'll never forget. I went to the game at Michigan State, Ohio State, Michigan State football at Michigan State. This is when Braxton was he a junior? We had Carlos Hyde at Michigan State. We won the game. The year escapes me on it might have been 2013. But anyway, they were talking, popping off, whatever. But then towards the end of the game, when the game was in hand, their fans were like, hey, basically they started to say, we hate Michigan, and basically it was also, hey, go beat Michigan and we hate them, and at least we got that going type thing, which I thought was hilarious. But yeah, you talk about Spiro and all that, man. Yeah, it's funny, man. It's really funny. But Yeah, I have no
Yeah.
problem with Michigan State basketball, man. Or I know people hate Izzo. I don't hate Izzo. I don't hate Michigan State basketball. I want to beat them when we play them. We've had some good battles with them when we actually had a good squad. But I don't hate them. It's fine. I understand.
Yeah, I've never actually been to the state of Michigan before, but it's
Oh
definitely
wow.
I'm gonna be up there in Ann Arbor, on where November 28th, I think it is. So I'll have to make it out to East Lansing for probably. I want to go for a basketball game. I mean, those that seems so fun, like being in the crowd there, like just
Yeah.
watching them makes. I'm like I almost get a little bit of jealousy, even though we got pretty good basketball where I'm at, but nothing like Michigan State.
Yeah, I've never been to their arena either. But they're a basketball school for sure. So I know it's an electric atmosphere. But listen, we wanted to dive into the NFL Combine, man. Or we got a nice dose of Buckeye interviews and Buckeye, workouts and people weighing in on what they saw and disappointments and confirmations and all the other stuff. So Funk, I wanted to let you start out, man, and kind of go over some of the performances and thoughts about it, and we can kind of just dive into it, man. And also the backdrop to this as we get into these performances and expectations is that Buckeye Scoop on Twitter had a wager or has a wager with the notorious James Yoder, the Michigan fan, James Yoder. The over and under is on how many Ohio State players are actually drafted this year. 15 were invited. Obviously, more can still get drafted, but the over and under, correct me if I'm wrong, was 12. 12 is was the stalemate, right? Was it 12?
Let me go check. How much people did Michigan draft it?
I thought they had.
It's whatever that is. I thought it was
I thought it
13.
was, okay. I thought 12 was was like basically it's a wash if it's 12, but if it's under 12, he wins. Yoder wins. If it's over 12, Buckeye Scoop wins. That's what I thought.
Wait, let me
The
just double
bet
check
was.
how much people got drafted.
Okay.
Oh,
Yep.
wait.
So
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, it's 13. Over under 13. Yeah.
okay, so 13 is a wash then.
So 13's a wash then. So
Okay.
we need 14 or 15 for a win.
Okay. So that's the backdrop, y'all. Now, Kirk and Nevada has talked about this, and they're pretty confident. And to be honest, I'm pretty confident as well because we're just talking about drafted. We're not talking about the round, just drafted. And so as we talk about the combine and the performances, that's the backdrop to keep in mind. As far as who's actually going to get drafted. But anyway, go ahead, Funk, and dive in, brother.
Yeah, the first guy I really want to underline is Josh Simmons. I mean, clearly we didn't get to see a ton of them this year due to the injury, but I mean, it's always good to have guys hopefully drafted high, helps with recruiting, helps with everything, and helps with transfer portal gets. Because as y'all know, Josh Simmons, very unpopular within the Ohio State fan base for, I mean, multiple years. But this year, he really showed out in his first couple games, and he's going to be the first offensive tackle taken in the draft. He had his MRI scannings and all his physicals come back, and it came back extremely positive. So the work Ohio State did with him, clearly working, the work he put in to get healthy was, I forgot who reported. I think it was Ian Rappaport. They said it was like pristine 100%, and it pretty much locks him into being a first-round pick. Not that we already didn't know that, but it's just good that it confirms that. And because you never know, maybe if the physical comes like really bad, he ends up falling to the second or third round, which would be really sucks for the kid. But it didn't. He put in the hard work. Ohio State helped him out using our facilities, our doctors, and he's now a lock for the first round, which is always, I mean, that's just always good to see. And then you look at another offensive line position and Donovan Jackson. Donovan Jackson is he's being looked at as a guard by most NFL teams, but he's still looked at as a first-round draft pick, which is, I mean, amazing. You saw that viral video of him doing that drills or the movement side to side and back and forth. I mean, exceptional. And all the guys I'm talking to have him inside the top 25 picks. Somewhere usually in between that 20th pick and 25th overall pick in the draft, which I mean, great for the kid because Donovan had a saying that he had a rough time at Ohio State is a little bit me being a little too hard on him probably, but there's times where people like expected him to dominate,
Yeah.
and he just wouldn't dominate all the time, but he really showed at his senior year. I mean, he dominated, but not at offensive guard, but at offensive tackle. So that that we could have 2 first-round picks in the offensive line this year, and then that's not even including Seth, who I didn't hear anything about how his scan's been back. I'm sure
Yeah.
not as good because I mean he had the injury in November, so that should
Right.
be interesting. Uh, we'll probably get more of a report near his pro day and closer to the draft. But if Josh Simmons is any indicator, then that should mean Seth should be ready to go as well, which would lock him into being a draft pick. I mean, Josh Simmons, he was probably projected 4th or 5th round pick last year, and he played himself all the way up into the 1st round. I mean, he could be a top 10 pick in the draft this year. So just kudos to the kid. And Dom Jackson will be 1st round pick, and Seth will be drafted. Just that's such a credit to Justin Fry. It's and that we gave him so much crap, or yeah, I guess I gave him crap too, and in general, a lot of people gave him crap, but he really
Yeah.
showed up, and you got to give him credit where credit is due. He really made Ohio State have 3 NFL draft picks in the offensive line, and then won the national title with our 7th and 8th best guys in the line. So kudos to him. That's not easy. I mean, it's almost an impossible job to have.
Absolutely, man. I'm very proud of Donovan Jackson because listen, I've told y'all before, I confessed that I was not that convinced that Donovan Jackson was who people said he was as far as, All-American type status. Coming into this year, I just had seen too much inconsistency, getting blown up on key pivotal plays and just, I've seen better. But man, this season, what he stepped up and did, some team is going to really, really get a steal. I don't care where he goes. I mean, what he showed this year, his versatility, his willingness to go out there and do that and make it obviously his first assignment was freaking Abdul Carter, so I'll give him a break. But after that, he was pretty darn good, man. Like after that, he looked like he was playing tackle his whole career here. That's crazy, man. So it's like he's being rewarded for his sacrifice because now, to me, I will be shocked. Now, obviously, it depends on what the teams need and all other stuff, but I'll be shocked if Donovan Jackson doesn't go 1st round. How can you pass up that versatility and that character and that leadership up? You know what I'm saying? So, definitely proud of Donovan Jackson. And you mentioned Josh Simmons. It's always hard for me to say his name. I say Josh Simmons. I put a shim on the Simmons. Does anybody else do that when they talk? Or is it just me? Do I have a speech impediment? But anyway, with Josh, man, when he first came in here, he was first of all with San Diego State. Fry still can't recruit even in the portal. Whatever. And obviously, fast forward. He came out and looked really good. I think he had to adjust to big time D1 ball, and he did that, man. I know some people even said he was soft and all. I'm just like, I mean, I don't know about if he's soft. He just needs to adjust. I mean, he has the athleticism. Excuse me. He just needs to adjust, and he did that, man. This is such a shame that he went down against Oregon, but 2 first round O lineman would be amazing, and that is definitely credit to Justin Fry. We've all been critical, on Fry to some extent, some more than others. Some made it just like they got a Justin Fry voodoo doll poking, little holes in it. It wasn't that deep for me, but I can understand some criticism he had. But the way he went out, I got to tip my cap to Justin because that O-line, that patchwork O-line, stepped up like crazy. But yeah, man.
Wait, correct me if I'm
got
wrong.
anything to say about that? Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, correct me if I'm wrong, but has Ohio State ever had 2 first-round picks drafted in the offensive line?
Ooh.
On the same year, like not obviously we've had 2 first-round picks on the same line.
The same year.
Man,
that's a good question.
Because I don't think we've ever had 2 tackles taken in the only year sorry, this is going to really show my age, but the only year I can remember us having a non-tackle taken in the first round was Billy Price to the Bengals.
Yeah.
Did we have a tackle taking that year as well? That's going to
That's what
show my age, but
that's what I'm trying to remember if that was the same year, because it's O lineman. It's harder for me to track in my mind. You know what I'm saying? But if anybody in the chat, I'm gonna try to look for that. But if anybody in the chat knows that, send it. That is a great question, because this very well could possibly be the first time, which would be crazy. So
yeah, I mean that's really hard to do. That's
yeah, and that will be coming from an O line that everybody hated and he suck and all this other crap. You know what I'm saying? So that would be remarkable. So if anybody knows that and gets it first, then send it to the chat, please. But anyway, because again, I remember like guys like Stringer, Pace. Obviously, we've had first round O linemen. I just can't think of two together in the first round. That's what's like, okay, hold on. So anyway, great question. Great question. But yeah, so let's kind of hop around to some other guys, man, because I know let's talk about TreVeyon Henderson. Okay, TreVeyon Henderson. So he ran a 4.48. He's going to run again in the pro day. But that is not a terrible 40 time, but it's also not super elite either, right? Compared to some of the super elite speedsters. And so there was some flack that he got. There was some oh man, that was just all right and kind of disappointed. But 4.4 is still plenty fast. But let me ask you this, Funk, and everybody in the chat too, everybody watching, because I'm just kind of going back and forth about this. There's something about 40 times that's kind of weird to me, man. You know how they say you got football speed, and it's like you can't tell me. I don't care what fan base you are, watching that Texas game and seeing TreVeyon Henderson break free for that screen for that screen pass for that touchdown. I mean, go look at the reels and videos posted all over the country, and the reactions in the comments from non-Buckeye fans, SEC fans, and it don't matter who, they were all like, "Yo, this dude is lightning fast." You know what I'm saying? But yeah, his 40 didn't reflect how fast we thought he was. But clearly, he was a blur on the screen against an elite Texas defense in the playoffs. You feel me?
yeah, no,
Against
totally.
Oregon. You said what?
Well, I was about to bring up. There's like a big difference between running as a track runner, like I know I don't do short sprints or anything,
Yeah.
but I know about it. I mean, I watch a lot about it. It's just, different. Like when you in football, you don't line up in a 3-point stance off the ground and get a fast start. Like you don't do in football, you rarely have a standing start or I guess not rarely, but like you don't usually start at speed 0. Like you're motioning, you're on your feet. There's quick steps before you go left, right, and then you it's misdirection. Like rarely does TreVeyon Henderson have to run from point A to point B 40 yards down the field in a straight line like that. That rarely happens unless you're playing Oregon in the Rose Bowl, So
Yeah.
It's like the 40-yard dashes to me always didn't really make a whole lot of sense. It's cause just especially I get it back in the day because you couldn't I guess really tell, but nowadays they're all wearing the catapult vests, and these NFL teams have all the access in the world to all of their live game speed, all this stuff, and just so why does it matter what they run on a 40-yard dash that one day? Because who knows what they did? I just don't think it means that much. I think it's important that he runs it and he runs a decent time, but I think it's more just for the president, of doing it. You just got to kind of do it. But it doesn't really matter. I don't think it really affected his draft stock if he would have ran 4.32 compared to what he ran. He ran 4.43. So it's I just don't think it really means that much. I think the more important, I think the most important part of the combine is having a well-rounded combine, doing good in the jumps, being good in the other drills. But people really only look at the 40-yard dash because it's the it's kind of like the cool event. It's like the 100-meter dash in the Olympics. It's like, oh, you're the fastest person on earth. That's the cool thing. But in reality, there's so many other things that are really important about football that people really just don't really look at or don't really care about. So that's just my 2 cents on it. I just think, yeah, the 40-yard dash is kind of, it's just like, I just truly don't care. It's like, I don't know, when you see like these soccer people talk about how fast they are and they can beat these professional track runners. I'm just like, no, you're a great athlete and all, but it's just a different sport. It's just uncomparable. So like, don't even try to compare yourself to people who their sole goal is to run in a straight line. It's like you're more of an athlete than that.
Right. No, great points. And the stuff that you hit on is what has me scratching my head at times. And it's like, does this really matter that much? Because look, I'll push back slightly on what you said as far as the draft status. Some of these GMs, bro, if they see a guy runs it's fast and like a 4.3, some of these GMs will we've seen this in history.
That's true. Yeah.
A guy because, oh, look at that 40 time.
Look at Xavier Worthy.
He's just like, he's mid. You know what I'm saying? So I think in that sense that the eye candy of that speed on the 40, could help them. But, and thank you, Tyler, for the correction. My bad. I did get them mixed up in my mind. Q ran the 4.48 and Trey ran a 4.43. But even I still was correct about some of the responses. There's still some people that were disappointed in Trey Henderson not running a 4.3. But yes, make sure we get that right. 4.43 is what Trey ran. So
which is so funny because it's like 0.004 seconds apart.
Right.
Like,
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. To me, it's all about eye candy, man. It's like, that's fast. That's still fast. And you cannot tell me Trey Henderson, again, not just Texas, go watch the Oregon game up the sideline. Oregon has just as much speed as anybody, right? I mean, like, bro, like, I don't get it. I get it, but I don't get it. So I'm not tripping off of Trey not running a blazing 4.2 and the dude is still a dog. He's very fast. I think we all can see that. So,
well, yeah, if you guys heard what Nevada said on the pod or a few days ago, I believe, Trey had the fastest max speed during his 40-yard dash compared to any other player in the league. That did the 40. So, that's really good, and that's really, to me that means more because hitting your like top speed, like that's important. Because we've seen, you guys watch football. that's why we're here. Having a good top speed is extremely important because that changes from a 15-yard run to a touchdown run, and getting into the end zone is like the most important thing. And explosive plays are, it's funny. If you watch any pregame interview or pregame show from pretty much anybody ever, including me, I've said it quite a bit. The keys to win football games are to have explosive plays and then limit their explosive plays. If you give up a bunch of explosive plays, you're going to lose a lot of games. So, and if you want to score a lot of explosive plays, you got to have explosive players. You can't have a bunch of, slow. I'm trying to think of a fat running back in my head, but for some reason I'm blanking. So you can't just have these bruisers if you want to have all these explosive plays. So.
Yeah, man. That's so. I don't know. I wanted to address the whole 40 time thing because it's always been kind of a mixed bag of. All the different things we discussed. Just like, man, it's cool to see, but don't overemphasize it, man. I just don't think it's now. We're going to get to a certain 40 time later on in the show that to me is inexcusable, but we'll get to that later. But anyway, so who you want to hop to next? I got a list of the Ohio State players.
Let's do Emeka.
Yes, you read my mind. Let's do Emeka. So what's your thoughts on Emeka, man? To me, he seemed like he really made a great impression, especially in interviews and the scout guys talking about him. I posted a video on my page about Kuiper and some other dude just gushing over him, talking about mid-first round possibly. Yeah, what's your thoughts on Emeka?
Yeah, I've heard exactly what they've been hearing. Emeka is looked at as one of the best wide receivers in this class. It's a little bit of a weaker skill position class, but Emeka is, he's shown consistency. What these other receivers in the class haven't shown is the being able to be productive with people around you with different quarterbacks in different schemes. And what they really like about Emeka is that he's just extremely reliable. He's the guy, he just wants to extend the change. He wasn't trying to, like, he could have transferred and put up 1,000 more yards on a team that wasn't going to win nearly as many games. And they just really like that out of him from his character standpoint, from his football aspect. A ton of positive things. I'd be shocked if he's not a first round pick because he's been rising up the draft boards, according to so many people that are like 3 people I've talked to have talked to me about it. I've seen another 5 online. So he's just impressive, and he's just a good character kid. So we're going to say that about all these Ohio State kids, because it's true. When these guys get to talk to, when these GMs get to talk to our players, they're impressed. And the more you get to talk to them, the more you fall in love with them as a player, and you want to take them high. So same thing's happening with Emeka. He should be a first-round pick. So now, how many first-round picks is that for us? 3? That's probably what we end up with. If I had gun to the head, we'd probably end up with 3. Them 2, Emeka, shoot. But I say that, but I would not be shocked if Jack Sawyer or Tyleik Williams sneaks into that first round. But I think more than likely they're probably in that top 40 range, top 45, 50 range. But I will say this right now. I know it's a long time till the draft, but I think we're going to have 9 guys taking in the top 100.
That's a lot.
Yeah, and I think I might be underestimating it, but I'm going to say that.
What the record will be on that. Like, I wonder how many times that's happened, if ever.
Probably the Georgia team, right? They had 5 first-round picks on defense, so I would assume that team. But then all 11 defensive players got drafted. That was it, and they won the Natty the next year.
Yeah, bro, that's insane. Yeah, that team, defensively especially. But yeah, I'm looking at the draft order, man. And I know Kuiper in his video, I'm not a Steelers fan, but he mentioned how Emeka would be a good fit with the Steelers. And they got the number 21 pick. But I'm also thinking, if they pass on him, Chargers 22, Green Bay 23, Vikings 24, Texans 25, Rams 26, and then the Ravens 27. Another possible good fit. Then, of course, Lions, Commanders, Bills, Kansas City, and the Eagles. So, bro, listen, especially for those other teams who really don't need a ton, I just, man, if he slips out of the first round, I will be surprised. I really would, man, because he just, to me, he's a great fit just for a locker room. He's going to come in and produce. If you got really good receivers and you want to bring in a third receiver who can just kill the third DB and just make it really unfair, he could be a guy that can, I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm very curious. Listen, y'all, I'm very low-key excited about this draft, man, to see where our guys go. I really am.
It's going to be exciting. I hope Emeka falls in the first round, and I hope we get 4 first-round picks, because I feel like that would be, it'd be a good end of the day one, because they kind of do it all. They do all the first round picks on day 1, and was it second and third round picks on day 2? It'd be nice to, after day 1, go on whatever Twitter and talk about how many, or we have 4 first round picks, and we're still going to have 15 guys drafted, which is, absolutely insane. at least 14 guys drafted. The only one that is a little bit debating in my head is Ty Hamilton, but I still think Ty Hamilton could be a 5th round pick, like a late 5th guy. But yeah, it's just good. It's so sad, but at the same time, that's good. This is going to help us so much in recruiting. It just is, because we have to, if we don't want to be, we're not an Oregon or a Michigan who their only recruiting pitch is how much money they can give you. We're Ohio State, where we can give you a really, really great offer, but we just aren't going to be the team that wants to, overpay for someone, because the new salary cap's coming up, and we don't want to be stuck with a bunch of these big contracts and being $20 million over the cap, which is that's what's going to end up happening very, very shortly. So we got to have a lot of guys drafted high, so people realize they want to play for become an NFL, and they don't want to just play for a Nike McDonald's bag. I mean, seriously, right? Like they
That's
don't.
no, but that's a bar though. That was funny. That was funny. I might have to clip that, man. I might have to clip that and post that. That's funny. But I mean, and we're gonna actually elaborate on that later too. Little sneak peek. But shout out to my homie Mike Green, man. Always showing up. Appreciate the $4.99. B-Mo, my guy, what up, man? I ain't been called B-Mo. They used to call me B-Mo back in high school. My guy, what up? Giving the love from Palm Coast, Florida by Daytona Beach. Yeah, enjoy that, man. It's still cold here in Ohio, flurries and all that crap. So enjoy that. But yeah, I wanted to also ask you, man, and who am I missing, bro? Like, I got Josh Simmons, Will Howard, Donovan Jackson, TreVeyon Henderson, Quinshon Judkins, Ty Hamilton, Jack Sawyer, Tyreek Williams, Cody Simon, Denzel Burke, Seth McLaughlin, Emeka Egbuka, JT Tuimoloau.
Jordan Hancock.
Jordan Hancock. That's who I'm missing. Jordan Hancock.
Sorry, it was funny. Before you even started speaking, I knew you were going to be missing Jordan Hancock because people forget it. Literally, like he's the forgotten child. Like it's actually like I mean, I'm not saying that in a negative way because I think he's an amazing player. It's just he's criminally underrated. That I mean, I find myself forgetting him sometimes, and I mean, I hear it all the time. Like even I'm listening to whatever, they always forget Jordan Hancock. I'm like, well, I mean, he's literally could be he could. I've seen him on some of these big boards that I've been getting sent by, not like anyone that works for the NFL, but these people are very knowledgeable. Like they care about their, I mean, in a nice way, they're very autistic about their NFL draft stuff. So their board to me is I respect their board because they watch all these guys, they rate all those guys, and I trust their eyes. And one of them had Jordan Hancock in the first 100 picks. So, which is, I mean, insane. Michigan last year had, what was it, like 3 guys taken in the top 100. So, and I really think we're gonna have 9, at least 9 actually. I think it could be up to 11, or it would have been 11 if Seth would have, because Seth would have been a top 100 pick if he would have not got injured. So my guess is 9. I'm going to stick to that.
And somebody mentioned, of course, how dare I, Lathan Ransom, of course.
Right. Yes.
So, and then the other guy who's not on that top 15 is Josh Fryer, who wasn't invited to the combine. I'm just like, man, I'm not saying Fryer was just some great, just all-world guy, but I would think he would at least get picked up by a team in the 6th round or something. Like, I don't think he's trash. So that's going to be interesting to see as well. Funky, do you think, what are you hearing? Do you think Fryer has a legit, what is it, a 50-50 coin flip or what to get drafted? I mean, G. Scott too. G. Scott.
I think Josh Fryer isn't going to get drafted. If he does, I think it'd be late in the 7th round.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've seen some draft grades for him, but not as many as I thought. I thought he'd be drafted. I thought he's for sure going to be drafted purely off, you started 2 years at Ohio State. Yeah, you'd get drafted because that's just how my brain works. But I mean, I have not been seeing draft grades for him, or not that many. And the ones I have been seeing him in late in 7th round, which you pretty much are just like blindfolding, throwing darts at that point.
Yeah. And then also in that range, sometimes it's better just to get invited to a camp.
Exactly. That's what Kirk says. Kirk says he wished he didn't get drafted.
Right, exactly. So we'll see, but I mean, we'll touch on a couple more, but I mean, I still feel pretty strongly about the 13 number and, Will Howard. We haven't really talked about Will Howard. And it's funny, man. We started out with talking about the bet between Scoop and Yoder, and this fool gonna post a clip of all of Will Howard's missed throws on the at the combine. He's such a troll. Such a troll, man. But what's funny is the official NFL YouTube channel, when you go to YouTube and type in Will Howard NFL Combine, their video clip shows like almost 2 minutes of just all his good throws. They don't show any of his drops. So that's the representation that we want to see. But yeah, he wasn't perfect. He wasn't Stroud out there, but he did have some good throws. I think he's going to get drafted somewhere in between the 3rd and 5th round. It depends on if a team loves him. They look at him, see the tools, and say, you know what, we can work with that. Basically, I think if he goes early, like in the 3rd round range, or even higher, which I'm not going to bet on. But I think teams are going to look at his character, his leadership, his size, and all of that and say, you know what, that's worth taking the risk on what looks to be an inconsistent quarterback as far as his career, if you look at the whole bag. Because I think, man, some of these quarterbacks that have been drafted, I think Will Howard has a chance. He has a shot to be solid. At worst, a career solid backup that comes in and is in the league for 10, 12 years. At worst, is what I think about Will Howard. What you think, bro?
Yeah, I mean, I'll start this. If Will Howard falls out of the third round, I'd be absolutely shocked. I would be, just from what I've been hearing, I'm absolutely shocked because I've been seeing, I mean, I've barely seen him outside the top 50 in most of what I've been hearing from people that are actually on roster that make money from NFL teams, from people that, again, that love doing these rankings, love drafting, like doing mock drafts, that are very knowledgeable. I've barely seen him outside the top 50. So if he's not drafted within the first, or what's it, 96 picks or the top 3 rounds, I'd be genuinely shocked. So I'll say, because he wasn't, I mean, it's just funny because people try to bring up meaningless stats like, oh, his hand size were 9-inch hands and he had a bad broad jump and he had a bad vertical. It's like, why does that matter? Like genuinely, like I get it for like a wide receiver or running back, or you really want to see like explosiveness. I mean, but why does that matter for Will Howard? Like it's all on the tape. If you want to see how fast he is, put on the tape. We've seen him run the ball before. Like seen this big kid throw the ball. Like he's clearly a accurate thrower. He had the highest what was it? The highest completion? Yeah, the highest completion percentage in Ohio State history.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's, I mean, he's clearly accurate thrower. I mean, clearly a great leader. So I try not to overreact. I mean, one thing I've learned is you kind of have to look at the bigger picture when you're trying to make an opinion about stuff. You don't want to get too focused on one thing, like one direct thing. So looking at a few bad combine throws, like, do I really, I mean, I to be dead serious with you, I didn't even watch him, like his full thing on the combine. The only thing I've seen are the clips on Twitter. So, and I heard he wasn't like really impressive and it was a little disappointing. Like he definitely didn't help his stock, but I can tell you right now, once he gets in these interviews, again, he's going to help his stock. So again, people don't like talking about that because what are they going to be? Like that just doesn't get the views. People don't really care. They're like, oh, well, they're going to make an Instagram post saying like, Will Howard's very good. He's a great leader and the teams like him. Like people don't care. People rather you crap on a kid and post his, oh, this guy sucks. And I also I laugh when people claim Will Howard sucks, or when they say any one of our players suck that is in the NFL or like going to the NFL. Because I'm like, what's that good for you? Like we just won the national championship. So if this guy sucks, then how good are we next year when we have guys who don't suck? When we have these new 5-star kids, these new toys we can play with. Like people are like, Will Howard's so bad, like he should be playing in Canada or whatever. I'm like, okay, then how good's our offense going to be next year with Julian Sayin? Like, you can't have it one or another. You can't be like, oh, you're going to miss having Will Howard on your team. You're going to miss your starting quarterback, but also say he sucks at the same time. So,
I mean, and the other thing with that too is people try to knock Howard saying, well, he had all these great receivers to throw to. Okay, did you see the throws? Like he still had to make the throws. Like the ball to Jeremiah Smith on the first TD against Tennessee was an absolute NFL dime. Mm-hmm. Like he threw nothing but dimes to Egbuka versus Oregon, dropping dimes in the bucket. Accurate. I don't care who he's throwing to. He had to deliver the ball against some really good DBs, and he did it on the biggest stages in big moments, did not flinch. And to me, I think what teams may be looking at with Will Howard as well is, if you think about it, because Ryan Day, we talked about this in previous podcasts, how he went on and on about his feet and how, his accuracy, and people thought he couldn't throw the deep ball, which we always push back against as not true. And clearly that was the case. It was not true that he had a weak arm. It wasn't a weak arm. Ryan Day said when his feet are right, he is as accurate as anybody. Will Howard also said that he's gotten the most coaching that he's ever gotten just in this 1 year at Ohio State. You know what I'm saying? So with that said, if I'm a GM, if I'm a team, I'm seeing the progression in 1 year under an elite coaching system. And I'm thinking, what more can he do to grow if he's under our elite coaching system? You see what I'm saying? This is like he's just now really kind of starting to break through under 1 year. Imagine if he was under that system for 3 years. You see what I'm saying? So I think Will Howard, he has a shot to be a really solid, really good NFL quarterback, man. I mean, he has the tools. So anyway,
I mean, he would start for the Raiders. I mean, I know that's kind of a popular take that the Raiders are going to take him because he's got Chip Kelly. But I mean, it's a true take. I think he would start for the Raiders next year. I mean, he's better than anything they have, unless I'm completely blanking on someone who they have. Like,
I don't know. I mean, I don't.
They started Aiden O'Connell last year, if I'm correct. So
yeah,
I mean, he would 100% start over him no matter what, because he's clearly just gosh, what was the best? If anyone questions Will Howard's ability, watch the first like 2 quarters of the Texas game. That might have been the greatest. like I'm serious when I say this. That was some of the best throwing from tight windows and just overall just like composure that I've seen from an Ohio State quarterback, period. It was a true clinic. And I know I literally just said don't look into too much, just like very small sample sizes. Which I mean, obviously not. I mean, he did it through a full season. But in that game versus, I mean, in my opinion, I think that was the best secondary we faced looking back at it. I mean, they have those 2 NFL safeties, like 2 NFL cornerbacks. I mean, very, very legit defense. And probably the best defense we played all year, looking back at it, probably. And that before, he was good all game, but those first couple drives, he was unstoppable. The only thing that was stopping us was those dumb penalties. But Will Howard was so good. It was actually, I mean, it was giving me a mini heart attack because I feel like every throw was over the middle, the Carnell Tate, and it looked like an interception, but it wasn't. It was like watching. I mean, seriously, it was like watching Aaron Rodgers back in the day, where every throw seemed like it was bound to get intercepted, and it just somehow found Jordy Nelson's hands. So it was. Oh gosh, I've been just watching all these games on repeat. The Notre Dame games, the Texas game, the Tennessee game, the Oregon game. And I watched a Skycam view. You guys can look it up. It's a Skycam view of the Texas Ohio State game. It's every play from the Skycam view, and oh my god, I was giving myself a mini heart attack watching Will Howard throw the ball. And it wasn't because he was doing a bad job. It was because he's doing such a good job that even me playing video games wouldn't be able to make those good throws. So
a lot of tight windows. Yeah, that Skyview rewatch is elite. Make sure y'all. I've told y'all this before too. Go watch when you rewatch games. Check out the Skyview. It's dope. And real quick, let's hop on Mike's super chat. Mike Green. The last time we had a players rant and rave. Last time we had players rant and rave about a QB in camp was CJ saying it's going to be that dude. I like that. I know there's still some doubters. Again, I've said before, like, man, I've given y'all my process, my thought process. Like, I haven't really seen it on the field in his limited time. Skip passes, he looks a little slight, but I can't ignore, the evidence of Saban wanted him, Ryan Day wanted him. The South Florida Express wanted him. They could have had anybody throwing to Jeremiah Smith and Brandon Ennis, etc. He won the Elite 11. Players are coming out gushing about his, how dope he is. So, you know what I'm saying? Like that was great to hear. There's still people kind of poo-pooing, like, what they're supposed to say. It's his teammates. They're going to shot. No, they're not. No, they're not. They didn't say that about Lincoln Kinghose. They said Lincoln Kinghose is good. Like, it's going to be a good battle. Denzel Burke, he was very charitable. Like, it's going to be a good battle. But they all went in on how Sayin. It was Sayin they talked about. If that was the case, they all would have been like, oh, Lincoln Kinghose is an absolute monster. No, they didn't, because he's not. He's cool. He's a nice kid. And I hope he stays for depth. But they're not just talking. It's possible that Sayin is actually really good. There's a lot of evidence pointing to that. We just have to see it on the field. But I mean, to me, that was exciting to hear his teammates come out, his senior teammates going to the NFL who do not have to gush over anybody, say what they said, bro. That's a great point, Mike. Thanks for bringing that up.
I mean, absolutely. I mean, that's exactly true. I can only imagine the text messages Ryan Day sent them after the when he heard that, because Ryan Day hates. I mean, okay, whatever, 200 people watching here about. You guys will hear this, and I guarantee you this is going to be a talking point come like when we're talking about the quarterback competition and all this stuff. People are going to be like, why hasn't Ryan Day named a starter? If Julian Sayin is that good, then why hasn't he been named starter yet? He's not even good enough to be named starter until the start of fall camp.
You are spot on, bro.
It's going to be all that, and it's going to be the same stuff. And it always, Ryan Day isn't going to pick a starter until the beginning of fall camp, like he always does.
Always does.
What was it? It was Justin Fields versus Tate Martell, was it, in that quarterback comp? And people are like, oh, blah, 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 blah. Or I mean, yeah, I mean, some people. I mean, Nevada was very pro Tate Martell, but clearly Justin Fields was the much, much better player. And people are like, oh, Justin Fields can't be that good. Why didn't he just get the job already? And it's like, well, no, I mean, clearly Justin Fields was an elite quarterback. He was a first-round draft pick at quarterback. I mean, same as C.J. Stroud. I remember when people were having debates over him or Jack Miller, you know? So it's just, I don't know. I just find it kind of silly. So, but I guarantee you that's what's going to be said. And everyone watching here, appreciate all y'all. Y'all going to get the first. You guys are learning, or we're all learning, and we're going to see it repeat itself, and we're going to be like, wow, you guys are really dumb. All the people who say are like call Julian Sayin bad because Ryan Day hasn't told him he's the starter yet, and it's May, you know. So
you, sir, are a prophet. You just prophesied, and it's going to come to pass.
100%.
It's death, taxes, and why hasn't Ryan Day named a starter? Like, dude, he's going to make you earn it. This is what Ryan Day does. And so another great comment. Thank you for the $4.99, Mike Green. You killing it, brother, per usual. Remember, they said CJ threw the better ball after Fields left. No way players during draft talked about CJ like they were saying. Yeah, man. Now you good, Mike. You good. I get what you're saying. Yeah, bro, listen. These players aren't just, especially on their way out, going to the NFL at the combine, bro. They're not doing that. They're not doing that. They're not about to just pump somebody up who's trash or who's not worthy, especially not multiple players. You know what I'm saying? Just think. I'm saying this because there are people who, again, I run a large social media page, Buckeye Sports Talk with B. Moses. I see comments, multiple comments, and people are still like, oh, they're just saying that. You know, what is he supposed to say? Well, he's supposed to say what the truth is. He ain't got to say all that. But anyway, man. So yeah, Sayin, definitely excited to see that endorsement. Obviously, he needs to go into spring ball and light it up, grow, learn, eat a couple sandwiches. I want him to put a few more pounds on as he gets ready for this rugged Big Ten. But yeah, I'm excited to hear all that rave review, man. But I know we're getting close. I wanted to quickly at least say I'll bunch them up, or I'll cluster them up. Sawyer, Tyleek, Ty, Hamilton. I think they all looked really fluid and like smooth in their workouts. I mean, they didn't look stiff. I mean, they looked good. You know what I'm saying? So I think I'm very curious to see how our D line is going to do in the draft, where they're going to go. Obviously, with certain teams, systems matter with the technique and the skill sets of our players. So I'm just wondering, you know, where they're going to go, man. But again, it's to me, I haven't been this excited about a draft in a long time. And so I always watch the draft. Okay. But I might make an event out of this. I might do like the wings and the, you know what I mean? The spread. I'm going to be excited to watch this, man. But yeah, bro, did you see any of Tyleek, Sawyer, Hamilton, JT, any of their workouts or hear anything?
I did not watch the workouts to be serious, but
no, that's cool.
What I have had happen is when when I'm looking through, talking to the people when they're giving me their mock drafts. I'll just try not to go through that spiel again. I've seen JT, my bad. JT, Jack Sawyer, and Tyleek Williams all projected in the first round. At least once for JT, but Jack and Tyleek probably over 50% of the times I've seen them in that top 32 draft picks or top 32 overall prospects, which is, I mean, they've been close to. I mean, sometimes I see them, in 30 or see them in 34, which is not a big deal, but for our counting sake, it is a big deal, because first round or second round, I guess, that means a lot to some people, even though in reality it truly doesn't mean anything. But it'll just be interesting. That's all I'll say from that, because three of those four guys for sure will be taken in the top 50, and then Ty Hamilton. I'm interested to see when he'll be drafted. Moses, that'll be very interesting, because it just he's just underrated. It's kind of like Jordan Hancock. It's just I don't think anyone really has a great idea, and we only really will know after the draft happens. Because I mean, even in 2016, when, oh my God, I'm probably missing the date on that, when Damon Arnett was drafted, I don't think he was projected in the first round before that.
No, he wasn't.
Yeah.
And I think, was that 2019?
Was it 2019? Oh yeah, no. Yeah, you're right. It was 2019.
No, but you're right. He was not. Yeah. I don't think he was projected. That was a shock. Yeah,
that was a shock to a lot of people, and clearly, I mean, looking back at it, probably wasn't a great draft pick. But besides the point, I mean, stuff like that happens, and I really wouldn't be shocked if you see that happen with some like Lathan Ransom, Jordan Hancock, or Ty Hamilton. If they get drafted absurdly high, and they're like, "What the heck?" Don't be shocked if Ty Hamilton is a second or third round draft pick. That's all I'll say. But also, don't be shocked if he's a 6th round guy. I just really do think it's a total coin flipping cluster for all these GMs, because just how do you judge a guy who was arguably the 4th best guy in the line for a team? It's a weird judgment, man. But you see it all the time. Those guys be successful. You see Philadelphia Eagles are pretty much just Georgia. So
yeah, man. Again, we've got some guys who you would think and expect to go in the first round. We've got some guys who are, kind of up in the air, where they go. It's a lot. It's a really good, interesting mixed bag of expectations. And we've seen guys who we thought would get drafted, not get drafted, and vice versa. I mean, so this is really intriguing. I think we should move on with us coming up on an hour on to Tez Johnson and his goofy comments. So I don't know if y'all saw on the title where we talked about Oregon's weird obsession with Ohio State. So this is just the latest, and we're going to touch on a few things, a few reasons why we say that. And it's so true, because when me and Funky were talking earlier, debating over the title, and I was like, you know what, because he brought up the weird obsession phrase, and I thought about it. I was like, man, they are obsessed. I just kept thinking about little stuff like, yeah, man, listen, we're going to get into that. But look, for those who didn't hear, Tez Johnson, the wide receiver at Oregon, one of them, not Evan Stewart. He's the one who really killed us in the first game at Oregon. Tez Johnson is the other one. He had a score. But anyway, he said the first Ohio State game, I felt like they came out there and wanted to see who can win skill for skill. The second game, they kind of played it like, we're going to drop back. We can't hang with these guys skill for skill. So we're going to try to keep everything in front of us. So that's what they did. And for them, it worked. So we went out there to that game. We definitely had a really good game plan against those guys, but they executed well. So kudos to them. They won the title. If you beat us that year, then you needed to win the title. That's basically me paraphrasing the last part of his comment. But come on, dog. Come on, bro. First of all, what are you talking about? You only won by 1 point off of a couple of garbage, fluky plays. And you talking about we were scared to go skill for skill with you? You won by the skin of your teeth off of a play that doesn't even exist in the rule book anymore, and a questionable offensive PI call. And you talking about we can't match skill for skill? Are you crazy? Bro, Funk, go ahead, jump in, bro. I don't want to go too crazy right now.
I mean,
Please jump in on
it's
that, man.
just he just it's this it's first of all, I want to say this before I get into him. It's not just like I was thinking about it when I was like Oregon's weird obsession. It's not Oregon's weird obsession. It's college football fans' weird obsession with Ohio State. You see
Fair
it
enough.
all the time with all these like random players. Like, who gives a crap about Georgia's projected 5th-round draft pick offensive guard? But why does he care so much about Ohio State? No, seriously, like, what the heck? Like, what the heck did we ever do to this random guy besides for him beating us in Georgia like that one time? Like, or he wasn't even playing. He was probably picking his nose on the sidelines. But I mean, could have. I can't talk crap. He's an NFL player, and I'm not. So, but but yeah, to get into Oregon, like, I mean, what does skill for skill even mean? And one, isn't that like insulting to your coaches a little bit? Like, oh, we try to just play skill for skill versus Ohio State and we won, but once it actually started like coming down to coaching, we lost. It's like, what? Like, it one that by any metric that doesn't make sense. I mean, Oregon won't have as many guys drafted as Ohio State. Oregon doesn't recruit as a high, like, it doesn't have, or their skill doesn't match Ohio State. That's that point blank. So if he means by skill he means like fluky plays, then sure. Like, because clearly that first Oregon game is so fluky. Like, I mean, we all know it, and we watching it live. That's just what like it literally felt like we were so much better, and then all of a sudden we lost, and it was like, what the heck happened, man? But well, we already talked about that, all those fumbles and big play touchdowns. But it's just I mean, he's a joke. I mean, he's truly a joke. And like, again, I don't care what you run in the 40 usually, but if you're gonna talk a big game and talk all that crap and then run whatever he ran. I mean, obviously I'm being sarcastic right now, but he ran like 5 seconds.
He ran a 4.5. I was going to bring that up.
4.5,
He's
yeah.
155 pounds, which is crazy, and runs a 4.5, bro. Like,
he's 155 pounds.
yes.
Holy
Yes.
smokes! I mean, I'm still lighter than that, but he's damn near my weight. So,
Bro, it's crazy. Like, I mean, and listen, he's a good receiver. Like, he did some good things in college. I'm not saying he's trash.
Oh, he's for sure a good receiver, yeah.
But I'm just like, dude, you talking about some skill for skill. And again, he had 75 yards and 1 TD. The one play, Denzel Burke, that was his worst game ever. And to me, it was not about speed with Denzel Burke. Because on that play, that was the play. I went back obsessively and watched that game. He was peeking in the backfield, too long, and let Tez Johnson get past him, and he got a step on him, and it was Gabriel delivered the ball perfectly, and he got burnt. But other than that catch where Denzel was being goofy, staring into the backfield, why? I don't know why. Cover your man. He had he had six catches for like 27 yards or something. I mean, he didn't really kill us like that. So then the other thing with Oregon, again, we talking about the obsession. I was going to do like a fan poll of like which fan base was worse during the playoffs, Oregon or Tennessee. Now I did like a little trial balloon with that, and it was overwhelming. What's up, B Chosen? Good to see you. That was random. Hopped it in the chat, but it was an overwhelming Tennessee, and yes, it's true. But I'll say this though, the reason why I even brought up that comparison because Oregon fans, again, I dealt with them on another level. I did a Twitter Spaces, and there was a bunch of Oregon fans, and they was talking crazy on that Spaces. It just changed me. It just made me think like, okay, they nipping at the heels of Tennessee, although pound for pound they weren't, because Tennessee was just awful. But Oregon, that's what I mean by we talking about weird obsession. It's like they try to make it seem like they're better than us, but you could tell secretly they want to be us. They want to be a blue blood so bad. You know what I'm saying?
And they're not even close.
They're not even close to being a blue blood. They're new money. They are new money, and they see us, and it's just like they aspire to be us, but at the same time they act like they're better than us. It's just really, really weird. And then the other obsession thing I was going to bring up is, dang it, what was the other thing I brought up to you earlier?
They call them that team out west.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We addressed this months ago before the game. This is another example of the weird obsession from Oregon. is they had the audacity. Do y'all remember this? Where they said, when we get to the Big Ten, Ohio State can call us the team out west because we're going to be their new Western rival. Like, it's cringy. Like, go on somewhere. Go on somewhere, man. Listen, no. And that's why this win against them was so satisfying because, yes, SEC fans are arguably the worst, especially how Tennessee acted with the Neyland North and all the other crap they did. But Oregon fans, man, they are underrated with their goofiness. I'm telling you. So anyway, they are obsessed with us, and that shellacking. It was 34-0 at one point. Tez Johnson in the Rose Bowl. It was still closer to Oregon. It was still in the West Coast. We weren't even in our territory. We smoked you after we made some adjustments. Come on, man.
Yep. So I guess Tez Johnson is crowning Oregon as the hypothetical 7-on-7 national champions. Hypothetical 1-on-1 national champions. That's pretty much what he's saying. That's like talking crap to a team being like, well, we go, well, let's go 1-on-1, whatever. It's like, man, whatever. 1-on-1 drills are dumb in the first place because our wide receivers win it like 80% of the time. But besides the point, Oregon, and they're obsessed with our players too. Where they offered, I forgot who said this. I think it was Berm. They offered like 5 Ohio State players over $1 million to transfer there. Like, what the heck? And let's not forget, they offered Quinn Ewers $10 million. $10 million they offered Quinn Ewers for 1 year. The play
and JJ Smith specifically. I know they went after him and Carnell Tate, but it's like I saw a comment on Twitter earlier from a Duck fan talking about. I guess we pulled in another coach, an assistant defensive line coach who used to coach at Oregon, but is now at UCLA. And one of the comments said they want to be us so bad. Talking about Ohio State. I'm like, what are you talking about right now? You sound like a moron. You want to be us so bad. And it's evident. Like you're offering our guys double the market value just to come out to Oregon and play with y'all. And they just like, no. You may get the name offers every now and then, whatever, but go on somewhere with that. That win in the Rose Bowl. I'm telling y'all, Tennessee fans, yes, sure, but don't sleep on that win in that Rose Bowl for that fan base. They're trash. You talk a lot to have 0 titles. You talk like you got 7 titles or something. Shut up. AJ, real quick. AJ Damron, $2. Thank you for the 2. Over and under Will Howard, 3rd round. Funky, real quick, this question.
Under. Like I said, if he's not taking the first 3 rounds, I'd be horribly shocked. So under 3rd. Oh wait, I mean, are we saying? I think he could be a 3rd round pick, but I think 2nd or 3rd round pick. So are we saying over and under 3 rounds, and 3 rounds I win? Definitely under.
Got you. And real quick, Mike Green, thanks for the $1.99. Blame Oregon on Urban Meyer. We don't have much time. I was going to ask you to elaborate on what you mean by that. But because I'm not sure what you mean by that exactly. But if you got time, shoot a comment, so we can know what you're talking about. But yeah. There was one more thing I wanted to hit on before we hopped off.
I just want to talk about how that Oregon win, or I agree with Steely Matt. That Oregon win was my favorite win of the year. I remember how I felt during the game, after that game. Oh my! I mean, I was at that game. You have no idea how obnoxious I was before the game, walking down the hallways, just like yelling, "Oh wait!" That's my favorite thing to do at Ohio State games, especially at kind of road games. Which Oregon game felt kind of like a road game, but really, I mean, it's pretty 50-50. But it was having so much fun, and the people in front of me were Oregon fans, and they left with like 8 minutes left in the second quarter. Like that was, oh gosh, I think about that day like all the time. That was the perfect start to the new year.
Right, you were there.
Yeah, it was oh my god, it was so fun. Like that was. I mean, I've been to some. I mean, amazing games. I'm very, very grateful and blessed. But that Oregon game, I mean, it's up there with the Natty in 2015, the Natty in 2024 or 2025, I guess, or whatever. It's up there. 2018 Michigan, 2017 Penn State, in the Rose Bowl. Gosh, yeah, no, sorry. Me saying that makes me feel such like such a spoiled crap, but but like, I mean, just. That was one of the best things. That was such an amazing game. So, that, I mean, but doing that to Tennessee too felt nice. But I think Oregon doing that in the Rose Bowl felt just a little better because that felt like the national title. After that game, I legit thought we're going to win the Natty. Before that, I really thought we
Yeah.
weren't, or like, I mean, the odds are we weren't before that game. After that game, odds are we were going to win it. So it felt like we did win it. So,
And real quick on that game, there was still don't forget, y'all. Don't forget the trash talking and the ridiculousness and the horrible takes throughout this whole playoff run. There was still a lot of fan bases, including scum fans, including some Ohio State fans who wanted they fired, who is still saying, "Oh, that's okay. We're still going to lose this game, and then he'll be fired." Or that's okay. It was fluky. Tennessee was overrated. Now you're going to get shellacked in the Rose Bowl against the Ducks, and we smoked them. I mean, so even leading up to that, people thought that it was the end of the road for Ohio State. Like, okay, yeah, you got lucky at home, backs against the wall against Tennessee. Now it's time to die, right? No.
yeah.
No. And so, yeah, bro, I'm going to go back and relive. I'm going to go back and watch the games again, like in full and enjoy it. Go ahead, bro.
One of my favorite podcast moments ever is when some little troll Oregon fan was in our top chat being like, we were sick. We were sick. We were sick. And I was like, because my take was, if someone's going to blow out the other team, I think it's going to be Ohio State. Because I was like, if our offense gets going, I think our defense is going to play good. Or so I think if we lose, it'll be a closer game because I think our defense could, hold up and play well. Like, I didn't think we're going to give up a ton of points. So I was like, if someone's going to win by a blowout, I said I thought it was going to be Ohio State. And this guy was like, and this guy was like, or this he like a little duck emoji. I think his name was like, I forgot. I don't even know what his name was.
Yeah,
it was something ducky, and it was just so funny. And you haven't seen him since. It's like Mike Hart. Where is he? Where is Ducky?
And Mike Green, real quick, because I know we up against it. I see you said Urban Meyer went to go talk to Oregon's team before the game and had a love fest with Dan Lanning. I haven't heard this, bro.
I did not hear that either. I thought he was bringing up the wide receiver thing where Urban was like playing a fast wide receivers for the first time is just different. Like, he said that before the Rose Bowl game. That's why Urban Meyer felt confident going to that game, because he's like, or it was something like that, where like when you haven't played anyone all year, then all of a sudden you play someone, and like sometimes takes you a second to get used to it. Right. So, and because you're a half step off, you lose. So sorry, that's what I thought he was talking about, but I guess not.
Yeah, that's interesting. Before the season, he picked them to win. Okay. Yeah, and so did a whole bunch of other people, to be honest with you.
Picked Oregon to win the championship.
I don't remember that, but I think, who Herbie did. The panel, it was like all.
None of them picked Ohio State, yeah.
Yeah, it was Oregon, Notre Dame,
and Georgia. And Notre Dame was a troll. Teams.
Yeah. Right. And then the funny thing about it is Desmond Howard, towards that, like when the playoffs started, tried to make it seem like, oh, everybody picked Ohio State anyway to win. No, they didn't. Yes, there was a lot of buzz about our roster being championship worthy and, hey, we're going to be right there. Yes. But when it came down to people picking, most of them picked Oregon or Georgia. So what are you talking about? Anyway.
Yep. Shout out Devin. I'm not sure if I told you, I saw Devin at the national championship game. I actually walked in the stadium with him. So got to see him. Great. That was great seeing you. Thanks for tuning in. That was so fun. He said, yeah, I've witnessed Funky screaming OH in the hallways. It's true. I'm telling you, it's true, B. Moses. It's
yeah, man. That would have been lovely to witness in person. And I still got to meet Dev in person, man. What up, Dev? Shout out to Buckeye Boys. Make sure y'all like and subscribe to their channel. Great dudes. So yeah, still got to meet Dev in person, and Mello, Sean, all y'all. Can't wait for that day. But yeah, bro, I know that was super lit up in that Rose Bowl Stadium. Clowning. But when does Kirk and Nevada go on? 7:15?
Oh shoot, I have no clue, to be serious. Something like that.
But because I could keep going, but we got to hop off. But anyway, so yeah, NFL Combine. I'm looking forward to seeing how these dudes do. Don't forget, Pro Day. Will Howard, expect him to be even sharper in the Ohio State facility, throwing to Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate, because that's the new tradition. Is Ryan Day has the receivers throw or catch and throw with the quarterbacks. So that's going to be nice to see the scouts drooling over Jeremiah Smith as he catches go balls from Will Howard.
I guarantee you Nevada is going to write a little blog after the game talking about all the NFL scouts that went up to him and just talked about how good JJ Smith is.
Oh, yeah.
Let's hold that. But I guarantee you that's going to be a thing. It's like, as good as Will Howard was, the NFL scouts are talking about JJ Smith is going to be literally like, they're going to tank for JJ. Like,
bro, listen, what the kid's saying now, Glaze? Is that what the kid's saying, Glaze? It's going to be so much glazing for Jeremiah Smith with these freaking NFL GMs. Okay, hold on real quick. Let me fit these in. Mike Green, yeah, Urban literally spent a day with them. Okay, so Mike is basically saying Urban was a little too chummy with the Ducks at Oregon and all that. I have not heard that, but it
makes sense. Yeah, he's
whatever,
in the TV.
It's. I mean, I don't like it. It's yucky, but whatever. We got our get back. AJ Damron, thanks for the 5. I was ecstatic when it got to 34-0. I wish we would have stepped on their throats even more. And Dan Lanning acting like he's a genius for a 12-man call. Absolutely, man. That win was so chef's kiss because Dan Lanning, I respect him as a coach, but he's too smug. I hate that grin, that little smug grin that he gives. Just shut up. That win needs to be celebrated more. That's all I'm saying.
I 100% agree.
Yep. But anyway, we're gonna hop off, man. Get ready for.
Wait, you missed one more.
Did
super
I miss
chat.
the super chat?
Yes.
Hold on.
Mike Green again.
I thought I got that. Urban literally.
Oh, you did.
Yep.
My bad.
Yep. So cool, man. Appreciate y'all. Appreciate the support. Again, we could keep going, man, because we just talking trash now. It is hilarious, but we're gonna get with y'all next week. Same time, same channel. All right. Go Bucks. See y'all next week.
Peace.